He's got the story, he's got the fight, bringing you the truth, day and night. For liberty's sake, we're taking flight. Go right with Peter Boykin, it's feeling right. Go right, go right, go right news. With Peter Boykin, we're making moves. Freedom and liberty, always on the rise. Tune into the truth and open your eyes. Reel it on Baru with Peter Boykin. We're making moves. Freedom and liberty, always on the rise. Tune in to the truth and open your eyes.
The landscape of artificial intelligence, AI, and its intersection with free speech has taken a concerning turn according to a newly released report by the U.S. House Judiciary Committee and its Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government, titled, quote, Censorship's Next Frontier, the Federal Government's Attempt to Control Artificial Intelligence to Suppress Free Speech. Phew, long document name. This document sheds light on what it perceives as a dangerous trend of using AI not for innovation, but for enhancing government censorship capabilities. Key points of the report. AI as a tool of censorship. The report argues that AI, instead of being harnessed for its potential to innovate, is being manipulated by the Biden-Harris administration to control the narrative and suppress dissenting voices online. It points out that AI has been funded and developed to automate and scale up censorship efforts, particularly under the guise of combating disinformation or misinformation. Yeah, like TikTok taking down me for misinformation, where I talked about January 6th having FBI informants that everybody and their mother has talked about, including the left-wing sources. Yeah, okay. Government pressure on AI developers. There's a detailed critique of how the administration has allegedly pressured AI developers to integrate censorship mechanisms into their models. This pressure has come from executive orders, regulatory threats, and funding conditions, suggesting that AI companies might comply out of fear of regulatory retaliation. Funding and research. The report highlights the use of federal grants, particularly through the National Science Foundation, NSF, to fund research to create AI tools for content moderation. This includes projects under programs like Track F, which are accused of having political motivations to silence conservative viewpoints or narratives critical of government actions. Let me remind you, our First Amendment to the Constitution states we have the freedom of speech, and that usually means freedom of speech from the government being involved in squashing our free speech. So if the government is sponsoring AI to take away our speech, then it's a direct violation of our U.S. Constitution. Legislative recommendations. To counteract these trends, the committee proposes several legislative measures. Non-interference and algorithmic decisions. The government should not involve itself in decisions about what constitutes misinformation or bias within private algorithms or data sets. Ban on funding censorship research, prohibiting federal funding for research that leads to censorship or collaboration with foreign entities on AI regulation that might result in speech suppression. Avoiding overregulation. Legislation should prevent the government from using AI regulations as a tool to exert coercive leverage over companies. vision for AI development. The report envisions a AI environment that is open, decentralized, and pro-freedom, where technology serves to expand knowledge and expression rather than to curtail it. Now, here's an opinion. The weaponization of AI for censorship is a profound threat to the constitutional rights enshrined in our republic, particularly the First Amendment's protection of free speech. This development is alarming because it represents a shift from AI being a harbinger of progress to a tool of control. Threat to free speech. By automating content moderation, there's a risk of silencing legitimate discourse under the pretext of managing misinformation. This not only chills free speech, but also stifles the marketplace of ideas, which is vital for a healthy democracy or republic, whatever you want to call it. The need for oversight. The situation underscores the urgent need for vigilant oversight. The government's role should be ensuring that AI development adheres to principles of transparency, accountability, and respect for individual liberties, rather than become an enforcer of a particular political narrative. Innovation versus control. AI has the potential to revolutionize numerous sectors with benefits like enhanced healthcare, better education, and more proficient public services. However, if its development is steered towards censorship, we risk losing these opportunities for national and global advancement. So there's a call for legislative action. The recommendations for new legislation are a step in the right direction, but they need to be robustly supported by both sides on the political spectrum to ensure they're not just partisan tools, but genuine protections for free speech in the digital age. The conversation around AI must pivot from control back to innovation, ensuring that this powerful technology serves the public interest and upholds the democratic or republic values of our constitutional republic. Without such a shift, we risk eroding the very freedoms that AI could, in a free environment, help to protect and expand. And here's 3 quick videos. I'm going to give you the headlines of it. It's the shocking truth about AI censorship revealed, what they didn't want you to know. That's by Elon Musk. Then we have the UN wants to use AI to censor people. And then how does AI censorship work? Watch all of these videos. Thanks for tuning in.
And then AI, which is, called it's called the singularity for a reason.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of times people that are in tech are pushing these things forward without any guardrails or consideration, for what could go wrong, despite all the cautionary tales.
How do you regulate AI, for example?
So that at least it's known what they're suppressing, and they can't secretly suppress things.
Right. That would be a law that requires open source, that if you're going to censor, you better do it transparently.
Yeah, the thing is that it really doesn't take much to sort of censor something. So there's a lot of censorship that goes on at Google that people don't realize, because all that needs to happen is just move that link to page 5.
Right.
The thing about the old joke about Google is what's the best place to hide a dead body?
The UN plans to roll out an AI-powered tool that's going to help nations stamp down so-called misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech. Well, we're screwed. Kathy Hochul can deny and defy biology. A professor of biology can get fired for teaching that sex is determined by chromosomes, but the UN and jackasses like Breitbart's going to go out there and investigate your text messages or your tweets and your information pollution and make sure that they, your overseers, the ones with the boot on your neck, are going to make sure that you, yes, a computer, an AI, a machine, an Arnold Schwarzenegger, is going to determine if you're telling the truth. That's what we're coming to, guys.
In late 2016, I became obsessive with the technological side of censorship because Google perspective, there's something called Jigsaw, which was set up essentially by this. It's basically the CIA wing of Google, and they in late 2016 they rolled out this AI retail censorship product that worked just like chess computers, and you could go onto it and you could plug in sentences and it would spit out a toxicity score, and you could set confidence intervals for how in their own papers they would describe how useful this tool would be. to be able to set confidence levels to automatically pre-censor anything with a confidence level above a 0.85. There's a 0 to 1 scale.